channels of audio, all the way up to 10.2 channels. So full-feature waveform editor is included, and again, surround sound support. So we're talking about some surround sound features, some live recording features, some mixing features there. I'll bring up my chunks window again. Now, if you're a veteran Digital Performer user, you know what the chunks window is. Digital Performer has the unique capability of having multiple sequences inside a single session. These sequences are completely independent. Each one has its own tracks layout, its own effects, its own automation, any set of tracks that you like. Now, having multiple sequence chunks is great for me doing my demo because these different sequences are different pieces of the demo. But the multiple sequence chunks are also useful for somebody who's doing live playback. All right, maybe those different sequences will be your set list. The multiple sequences are useful for somebody who's doing sound for picture. Maybe those multiple sequences will be different cues that are going to be hung along a common timeline. I've got 9 pieces of music I want to work on for this half-hour TV show. Each piece of music starts at bar 1, but I need to be able to keep them all inside the same session file. So the ability to have multiple sequences in a single session, another powerful feature of Digital Performer. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about film scoring. Here's the Hannibal Rising film trailer. This is rated PG, the trailer. I don't know how they got away with that.
Is your name Hannibal Lecter?
Do you recall the events that led to your family's murder?
The little boy Hannibal died in that snow.
He was raised in a work camp.
Let's hear you scream, little master.
What he is now, there's no word for it.
Do you have any guilty knowledge of the death of poor Mama?
Guilty knowledge.
I found the man who killed my father.
He's got to do the wood. Your family died. His face had been eaten.
His face had been eaten. And you're a composer, you're thinking maybe a high flute part at that point, maybe a string quartet. I don't know how these guys come up with this stuff. All right, what we're looking at here is the film trailer, or one of the many film trailers that was made for the Hannibal Rising movie. And this was scored by a gentleman named Yoav Goran. I've never met Mr. Goran, but I know a lot about him just by looking at his session file. See this here, this item? This is a folder, a track folder. When I open that up, see, I can hide or show. I can have folders nested inside of other folders. Now what we're looking at are MIDI tracks. A whole lot of MIDI tracks. So you can see why having a track folder is a major advantage, right? I might end up with 300 tracks in my project. I need a way to manage them. Let's put all the drums together. Let's put the background vocals together. Let's put our MIDI tracks together. What Mr. Goran is doing is typical of a film composer in that he has a very large template. Some of these tracks don't even have music in them. He starts with a template, and if he needs to add in a clarinet, the track's already there and ready to go. Okay, so in this case, what Mr. Goran did was he did the scoring using MIDI sequencing, triggering synthesizers and samplers, and then those instruments were recorded as audio tracks. That's what we're listening back to. But how did he go about writing the music? Well, the first thing he did was he watched the movie, and he laid in what's called an edit decision list. These are markers. We see them in the top of the timeline. And those markers are there to tell us when music starts, when music stops, significant hits in the music that we want to reference with some sort of musical beat. Maybe we'll even use markers where there's got to be a sound effect or something. But the markers are positions in time relative to the picture. We're going to use those markers as the foundation for the musical composition. Next, what we'll do is we'll select some markers. Okay, let's open this up a little bit. And we have a find column. See the find column? You can see that some of these markers are selected in the find column. I go to the markers window and I choose find tempo for locked markers. This is a calculator. This is a tempo calculator. What it does is it looks at the position of the markers in relationship to the picture. And then it gives me a range of tempos where I'm going to land on beats. If I use this tempo, or Turn on the click track here. Right, we can audition different clicks. We can set ranges of clicks and so forth. But what happens is when I choose a tempo, then the markers that are selected show up in the bottom of this window. And if this is the tempo that I use, these are the beats that the markers will fall on. So the tempo calculator gives me ranges of choices and tells me if I choose this tempo or that tempo, where are those film hits going to be referenced in music. So this is kind of like, well, it's a calculator. It's doing all the work for you. Once you find tempos that you like, you hit the apply button. Those tempos are now applied into the conductor track. You play back a click track. You haven't even written any music yet, but now your click track is matching up with what's going on inside the picture. Now in this case, what we did was, or what Mr. Garn did was, he did the composition with MIDI, and then transferred that to audio, and that was what you saw when you saw the film trailer in the movie theater or on television. But for the final score, the theatrical release, this was recorded by a real orchestra, 60-piece orchestra. Now the original composition was done in Digital Performer, and then what they did, let's go down and find a couple of tracks here. Once the music had been written, then they displayed it as notation inside Digital Performer. We take this notation and we can hide or show whatever tracks we like, so we can print out individual parts or scores or any combination of instruments. And this sheet music is given to the live musicians at the scoring stage. And did we just win an award? Technical Excellence and Creativity, Digital Performer version 5. Hey. Nobody ever walks up to me and hands me an award before. I like that. Thank you. Meanwhile, back to the good stuff. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll take this sheet music, they'll go into a scoring stage, the conductor will listen to the clicks from Digital Performer, conduct the orchestra, and the orchestra follows along. We record the orchestra as audio tracks, and now that live music is synchronized to the picture. You'll notice there's a little extra information in this quick scribe view, in this notation. This is the conductor score view. Again, we can hide or show this. The purpose of the conductor score view is to give the conductor just a little extra information. For example, what is the SMPTE location of bar 5? Okay, here's bar 5. That's SMPTE time, 9 seconds and 46 frames. So if somebody in the scoring studio says, hey, let's go to 1 minute, 30 seconds and 8 frames, we don't have to figure out what number bar it is. We've got that information right in front of us. We can see markings showing us the beats in the bar. Okay, this is 4/4. We got 2 beats showing us it's 2/4. 5 beats showing us that it's 5/4. Tempos, rehearsal markings. So all this extra information is in there to help out the conductor at the scoring stage. There's one other thing that gets done in the scoring stage. Everybody's in this giant room paying thousands of dollars an hour to rent it out. You've got the 60-piece orchestra. You've got the music editor. You've got this crazy giant mixing board. People are mixing music, mixing sound effects, and the picture is projected on a very large screen so that everybody can see it. And they superimpose visual events over top of the movie. Streamers, punches, flutters. These visual events are used in the scoring stage so that the conductor can see, oh, here comes a streamer crawl, tempo change or meter change. Punches, quick flash on the screen. Maybe the sound effects editor needs to know, don't forget, put the sound effect right there. So much more we can do in Digital Performer.
When your family died, his face had been eaten.
Now tell me, Inspector, you lost family in the war?
Yes.
Did you catch who did?
No. Then we are both suspects.
Streamer. Punch.
Inspector, he's tracking them down one by one.
Another punch.
We catch up.
Now, prior to being able to do this in Digital Performer, what they do in these Hollywood scoring stages is they have this very expensive hardware. The video is run through it. The video events are superimposed over that picture.